Okay, let's just get started. Hello, hi, welcome. Thanks for coming to my talk about tips for effective content creator collaboration, or the less professional title that I didn't submit when I put my talk in for this conference. Notice me, please, for the love of all things holy, play my game. I'm Kate. I'm really excited to give this talk today. My primary goal was for at least 5 people to show up. Nailed it. My second goal was to make you laugh at least once. I'm on a roll. My third and most important goal is to have you walking out of here feeling more confident about your content creator relations efforts. So let's see if I can go 3 for 3, shall we? So, who am I? I have over 5 years of video game PR and marketing experience across a couple different agencies I've worked at. During that time, I've led campaigns for more than 60 games, from pre-announcement to post-launch support. While my marketing expertise is quite broad, like I've done everything in between, my true passion lies in content creator relations. That passion is fueled by the fact that I have almost a decade of experience as a Twitch streamer myself. So I understand firsthand how creators build real-time connections with audiences and players. Through hundreds of content creator campaigns that I've managed over the years for clients, I've seen just how powerful in making games stand out in an oversaturated market that they can be. Today, I'm going to share proven strategies for working with content creators and maximize your marketing efforts. Before we dive in, let's start with a couple of show of hands questions, just so I can get a feel for the room. So, question number 1, how many of you have ever felt overwhelmed trying to reach out to creators, or you didn't know where to start? Okay, just a couple. All right, and how many of you have worked with content creators before? Oh, we have professionals in here. You don't need my talk. All right. But yeah, thank you for sharing. It really helps me understand the level of experience we have in this room, and I'll keep that in mind as I go through my talk and give examples. So let's talk about how content creators can make a difference for your game and how you can work with them more effectively. There's so much to go over in this talk when it comes to collaborating with content creators, and I could honestly talk about this for hours. My biggest issue putting together this presentation was fitting it within the strict time limit. So I've made sure to narrow it down to 7 key topics and really focus on the key takeaways under each of those categories. My aim today is to give you practical, actionable advice that you can apply to your own projects immediately. So, today's topics are talk the talk, communicating with creators the right way, finding your perfect match, how to curate the right content creators for your game. Bigger isn't always better, why engagement matters more than size. Nailing the pitch, best practices for approaching content creators. Building relationships, how to run successful unpaid creator campaigns. Maximizing return on investment, budgeting and negotiating for paid creator campaigns. And must-have tools, content creator collaboration made easy. While each of these topics could be its own talk, like I said, I'm going to be focusing just on the important takeaways from each. And then at the end of my presentation, just to further help you, I will be sharing some helpful resources and templates that I use, so you can just immediately walk away and enhance your efforts. So that said, let's move to the first topic. Talk the talk, communicating with creators the right way. So I know it sounds simple, but bear with me here. Using the right language and approach when working with content creators isn't just about being polite. It's key to forming strong, successful partnerships. The way you communicate can truly shape a relationship. And you'll see this theme throughout my entire talk. It's really primarily about relationship building and how to form those strong bonds. So, first point is build trust and respect. Creators are professionals in their field, and they want to be treated that way. They're not just a promotional tool for your game. They are people who are passionate about what they do, and they do it well, so respect that. Using the correct terminology shows that you respect their work, understand the creator's space, and value their role in promoting your game. I added the "how do you do, fellow gamers" meme because this is actually quite common with video game marketing people or public relations people. They don't know how to talk to content creators, and that's kind of what you look like sometimes. That's what I've looked like in the past sometimes. It's very common, so don't feel like I'm calling you out. It's been me as well. Set professional boundaries. So being clear about the type of collaboration, whether it's unpaid, incentivized, paid, it helps establish a fair and transparent set of expectations. With inboxes full of collaboration requests from various devs, publishers, and companies, understanding quickly whether an opportunity aligns with their content and schedule is important. Strengthen your brand reputation. When you approach creators correctly, it reflects well on your brand. Creators talk to each other. Like they share the tea if someone is coming up saying, "Hey gamer, I hear you like games," with their general email send out. They know, they talk. You don't want to be that person they're talking about and making fun of. So build a reputation as someone who communicates clearly, respects creators, and understands how to navigate collaborations in the space. It can help you gain access to more opportunities and long-term partnerships. And lastly, foster authenticity and effective partnerships. Using the right terms helps ensure that the partnership feels good for both parties. If you incorrectly label a campaign or misrepresent its nature, it could feel transactional or one-sided for the creator. An effective collaboration should benefit both the creator and the dev to give that two-way win-win dynamic. Now, let's clear up a few terms that are often misused or misunderstood, because honestly, these really grind my gears. I'm on a mission to get people using these terms correctly, and today I have a captive audience. So let's set the record straight so you can walk out of here immediately sounding like you understand content creator relations a whole lot better than you currently do. So, influencer versus content creator. While content creators fall under the category of influencers, not all content creators are influencers. I know that's a little bit confusing. Let me explain. Many gaming-specific creators don't like the term influencer. They see themselves as community builders, not just promoters. Being labeled an influencer can feel like their audience is being reduced to people to just sell something to, which isn't how they view their role. Instead, use terms like content creator or streamer when speaking with them or referring to them on social media. This simple shift in language shows respect and helps establish those beneficial relationships. Organic versus earned. This one really gets me going. The term organic is often misused when referring to unpaid partnerships with content creators, and it can come across as insulting when used incorrectly. True organic creators are those who create content on your game completely on their own, without any proactive outreach, emails, keys sent over. They truly like the game. They found it, they thought it was cool, they're playing it. That's organic. On the other hand, earned creators are those that you reach out proactively. You send the pitch to, you send the game key to, you build that relationship with them. Once a brand engages a creator, that content becomes earned, not purely organic. So it's better to use the term earned to reflect the fact that the brand had some involvement in the creator choosing to play that game. Not only is it more honest and transparent, the distinction is important because it shows that the collaboration was initiated by the brand, even if no money changed hands. And lastly, exposure. Probably the most important of these three. The word exposure has turned into one of the most overused and often controversial terms when it comes to unpaid collaborations with content creators. It's very important to remember that exposure does not pay the bills, and it holds very little value for content creators. Creator inboxes are flooded with many opportunities each day. And if they choose to cover your game, it's because they see something they like. And they're actually doing you a favor, not the other way around. In reality, they're the ones providing you with exposure. Okay, finding your perfect match. How to curate the right creators for your game. So the most important part of any content creator campaign is involving the right creators at the right time. Every game is different, so there's no one-size-fits-all solution for this. It's not a quick task, but curating a solid content creator list is absolutely worth the time. Just spend the hours that it takes to do it. Just do it. Spending that time up front and to ensure that you're reaching out to people who would most likely be genuinely interested in your game gives you much more return on your efforts. They'll actually respond. They will be interested. They're more likely to play your game. Instead of just yelling into the void to any creator email you found, you're reaching out to people who are kind of on the warm level of sales and marketing interest. So spend that time up front. I'm going to give you some pointers to help you effectively identify the best creators for your campaign and when to engage them. Start by identifying who your ideal players are and what other games they enjoy. You don't need to do an in-depth market analysis or a SWOT I highly recommend you do those things, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to curating a very targeted content creator list, you really, at the base level, just need one thing. Look for at least 3 similar games of comparable gameplay, genre style. Figure out 3 games that your ideal audience are currently playing, and then use those as reference when finding creators for your list. It really is that simple. And I say simple, it's still time consuming, but the concept itself is simple. So focus on creators who've played these similar games in the last 3 to 6 months, sometimes up to a year, maybe more if it's a really niche game. But just keep in mind that in the content creation space, preferences and things they enjoy shift constantly. So the more recent the content of these similar games is, the more relevant the creator. If your game has had a playtest, demo, or it's been in early access, make sure you're looking at creators who've played it already. If they enjoyed it and had positive reactions to the content, they are more likely to play your game again further in development, perhaps for launch or a post-launch activity. Align creator types with your campaign milestones. So you always need a reason before you start reaching out to creators. Why? What is the purpose? So align it with your campaign. So for pre-launch content creator collaborations, you're looking for gameplay previews, early access streams, and beta testing. These all work well to build awareness and gather feedback before the game launches. For launch, you likely want to focus on larger impact activities like live streams, let's plays, and reviews to drive immediate interest and sales for your game. Post-launch is more focused on ongoing engagement through things like streams and community events or challenge, just to keep that momentum going. So align your creator list and the type of content that each creator creates in comparison to what stage of launch you're at. All right, focus on genre-specific content creators. The best creators whose content closely aligns with your game are going to be your primary audience. Their viewers are already primed for that type of game. So those are the people that you want to hit up. Often, a niche streamer with a smaller but highly engaged community can make a bigger impact than a larger creator with a more broad, less focused audience. Variety creators, those who play a wide range of games, are often more willing to try out new games just because the nature of their content involves switching from game to game constantly. However, keep in mind that the audiences of variety creators are typically there for the creator, not so much the games that they're playing. It's beneficial to include variety creators in your outreach, don't get me wrong, they're fantastic, but don't make them the main focus of your curated content creator list just because they're easier to get on board and reach out to. They're a great way to supplement a genre-focused creator list, but ensures balance between the two categories. Ultimately, the goal is to put your game in front of people who are most likely to buy and play it. It's essential to check engagement metrics to see how active and involved a creator's audience really is. Focus on metrics like comments, likes, community interactions, and average viewership. These will give you a clear picture of how engaged their audience is and how likely they are to connect with your game. For Twitch creators, I suggest looking at their 30 to 90-day statistics to get a well-rounded view of their audience size and engagement over time. This gives you a realistic expectation of their current viewership. For YouTube creators, it's a little bit different. I recommend looking at the videos that they've posted within the last 2 weeks and compare those to videos that have been up for closer to 90 days. This gives you an understanding of what the immediate impact is and what the long tail impact is. And you can get a pretty good estimate of the average viewers between the 2 weeks videos and the 90-day videos. And then that will give you a realistic expectation of expected viewership if you work with them. When reaching out to multiple creators who are managed by the same agency, it's best to send one email to your agency contact rather than contacting each creator individually. While each creator does have their own agency-specific email, creator@coolagency.gg, it's important to know that each of these emails gets forwarded to their manager that's handling their account. So if you have 10 creators from the same agency on your target list, and they're all great fits, you curated them, you did your research, when you send emails, these 10 emails, that same manager is receiving all 10 of your emails. And it's quite frustrating for them. And just the nature of their job, they're constantly vetting requests and collaborations for their roster of creators. So if you want to foster really good relationships with these creator agencies and talent agencies, simply send one email to them. And in that email, put your pitch, what you're looking for, and just include like a list, like a creator, like, I want to work with these 10 creators. Let me know if any of them are on board. That way, the agency has just one email they need to reply to and read and deal with. And they will appreciate that. They will remember it. They'll thank you for it. And they will want to work with you more in the future because you're just easy to work with. You know how to communicate concisely and effectively. So just keep that in mind. As well, don't forget to nurture these agency relationships beyond just pitching them things and looking for creators on their roster. Reach out casually, send a holiday greeting, thank them for their past collaborations. Schedule calls just to connect with them personally or just to hear about perhaps new updates to the roster that they have going on. If they post a cute picture of their cat on social media, reply to it saying cute cat. Whatever you can do to positively get your name and your brand in their mind will just make it so much easier down the road if you're doing campaigns, paid or unpaid. And when you're negotiating, they're more likely to have some wiggle room or be kinder to you because you've been kind to them in the past. One of the most common mistakes that people make is reusing creator lists because it saves time. Even for the same game, if you did outreach for a campaign like 6 months to a year ago, and you spent the time, you spent hours, you made that curated list, and then 6 months later, for launch or a post-launch activity, well, you already have the list, so why not just use it again, right? Well, the nature of content creators is it's always fluctuating, activity is always changing, preferences change. So is it not updating your list, not keeping an eye on it, not checking it, reflects poorly on you. To give a personal example, I'm a Twitch streamer. I moved to Australia from Canada last year. I haven't been very active on my Twitch channel since then because of it. So it's a pretty big move. In that time, I still receive emails from developers, agencies, publishers saying, hey, we really love your content and we would really like you to cover our game. And all that communicates to me is that I'm just a name on an outdated list that they haven't checked in a while. And they're not doing their job to their best effort. They're being pretty lazy about it. And do I really want to work with someone who's lazy or cover a game for someone who's not really putting the effort in? Not so much. So just take the time, check through your lists before you do your next campaign and just update it. Otherwise, it's what I call yelling into the void. Don't do that. It's not effective. It's a waste of your time. A simple spreadsheet is your best friend. You don't need a complicated CRM platform or software or anything, just simply a spreadsheet. Organize it to list key details about each creator, such as platform, similar games they've played, engagement metrics like average viewership, or any communication history you've had with them. Make sure to update it regularly to keep track of which creators you've already contacted, who's shown interest, when you last followed up with them, or which game key you gave to each creator. That's really important. Sometimes game keys land on the key reseller websites, so if you have an up-to-date spreadsheet, you can find out, I gave that key to this creator, then you know to not include them in campaigns in the future. So definitely keep track of exactly who gets every single key. This kind of organization with a spreadsheet is especially helpful when you're juggling multiple creators or campaigns simultaneously, ensuring that you stay on top of communication with everybody. Getting overwhelmed or losing opportunities are things you don't want happening. For me personally, when I'm working at the agencies I've worked at, I've been juggling up to 8 different games, 8 different clients simultaneously, and doing creator stuff and other marketing stuff for them all at the same time. So spreadsheets are my best friend. If you ever want to just have a chat about spreadsheets and how great they are, feel free to hit me up anytime. I am team spreadsheet. So yeah, you don't only save time, but you also look more professional, respectful of the creator's time, and committed it to the meaningful relationships and well-researched outreach. So at the end of this presentation, I've actually included a link to the template that I've made and personally used across hundreds of creator campaigns. My simple spreadsheet with the different categories, lists, and everything, little fancy drop-down menus that track contact status, and please use it. Make a copy of it, claim it as your own, use it. It'll make your life so much easier. Bigger isn't always better. Why engagement matters more than size. So let's talk about follower numbers, because they don't matter as much as a lot of people think they do. In fact, they're useless. I don't even look at follower numbers. On my fancy spreadsheet template I just mentioned, you're going to notice there's no follower or subscriber column. It doesn't exist. And if your current spreadsheet has that column, I highly encourage you just to delete it. It's useless. Don't use that. Followers do not tell you expected viewership or potential engagement with the creator. So filling that out is just not worth your time. Think of it like shopping at IGEA. Millions of people shop there. Everyone knows what IGEA is, but they're not there all at the same time, and their shopping habits vary quite drastically. Some people visit regularly. Some go only occasionally, perhaps every time they move house, which could be once every few years. Some may pop in briefly just for those delicious meatballs. So others might spend hours following those little arrows on the floor, going through every single section, even though they don't really need to, but it's an arrow, you have to follow it. The same applies for a creator's follower count. Even if a creator has 100,000 or more followers, that does not mean that all of these followers are going to see your game when the creator showcases it. Follower count alone is a poor indicator of actual visibility. This holds true for social media followings as well. Followers accumulate over time through just regular content, streams, videos, special events, or giveaways that they do. And a creator's active viewers can drop significantly when they take extended breaks or hiatuses from creating content, which further skews the follower to viewer ratio. Instead of focusing on followers, prioritize metrics like engagement and average viewership to understand a creator's real impact. Bigger numbers don't always mean better results. It's the active connection between the creator and their community that truly matters. When discussing creator size, you might have heard terms like macro, micro, nano, or head, torso, tail. They're all quite confusing, and at least for me, they don't really communicate clearly like what's the difference between micro and macro. So for me, there's actually 3 different phrases that I like to use, which are billboard, salesperson, and trusted friend. These terms not only describe the size of the creator, but they also give an idea of the type of results you can expect from each category. I'm going to quickly walk you through each category with an example based on Twitch viewership to give you a sense of what a small and what a big creator is. But keep in mind, these numbers are just estimates for educational purposes. These aren't hard, set-in-stone statistics. So, billboard creators. So 1,000 plus concurrent viewerships on Twitch. This is the awareness tier. These are the super big content creators that have massive viewership, social media followings, and overall audience. Think of the billboard on the side of the road when you're driving down the highway. Lots of eyes see it. These creators are great for bringing large awareness to your game to a lot more people, but they do have less sway over how their audience reacts or takes actions when they see it. They don't have much of a personal relationship with their viewers. But again, lots of eyes on your game. It's a billboard. Salesperson. So this is the 250 to 1,000 CCV range. And the focus here for this category is more connection and action. So these are still large content creators, but they aren't so massive that their chat is moving so quickly that they can't engage with their viewers. Their viewers are more likely to take action if the streamer is enjoying a game. They've likely been creating content for quite some time to accumulate such a following. So they know how to speak on talking points about a game and how to sell it to their audience if they're enjoying it. Trusted friend. So this is roughly within the 5 to 250 concurrent viewership range. And this is the category with strong influence. The audience of these smaller content creators are tight-knit, such as friends or family would be. Notice how I'm not calling them small. They are smaller than the previous categories, but their impact is not small. When these creators talk about your game, their audience will listen to every word they say. You want to include creators of this size in your campaigns because the biggest impact often comes from a large army of smaller voices. Now that we've broken down the different size categories of creators, let's discuss how to find those who bring the most value to your game. The goal is to identify creators who have built strong viewer loyalty. It's all about spotting creators with engaged communities, building authentic relationships, and ensuring you're working with the right fit, not just going by the big numbers. Start by looking for frequent chat activity during live streams, thoughtful comments on their YouTube videos, or active discussions on their social media posts. These are the creators with real influence because their audience trusts them. That leads to more authentic and effective promotions for your game. When a creator genuinely loves your game, their community senses that. It resonates more than any paid sponsorship could. If a creator is just shilling a game because they were given a key and they were told to, and they're not really into it, their audience knows. They can see through that. So if they genuinely enjoy it, that's the best type of partnership you can collaborate with. So it's about building those long-term relationships, getting the creators who are the huge fans of your games, playing them. And they can evolve over time, growing as your game grows and providing sustained value and exposure. One last point I want to hammer in about creator size is ultimately what matters most is finding creators who fit your game well, regardless of how big they are. Their audience should align with your target players, and their enthusiasm for your game should be genuine. When you prioritize engagement and the right fit over size, you're setting up a campaign that can truly connect with audiences and create meaningful buzz around your game. Nailing the pitch, best practices for approaching creators. Your pitch can make or break a potential partnership. A great pitch shows that you truly understand the creator, value their work, and have taken the time to connect in a meaningful way. Sending a generic copy-paste message simply won't cut it. Creators receive countless emails every day, and that lack of personal touch means they'll most likely just move on to the next email. To stand out, you need to add that personal touch, and you need to provide a clear, compelling reason for them to engage with your game. Answer the question, why should they care? It's also important to think creatively about the campaign content and how it fits into the different stages of your launch to maximize its impact. As I mentioned before, pre-launch, launch, post-launch. So here are some best practices that are tried and true that I've used over the years to ensure your pitch stands out and resonates with the creators that you want to reach. When reaching out to them, emailing is almost always more effective than sending a direct message through social media platforms. And here are 3 reasons why. 1, professionalism and seriousness. An email shows you're approaching the collaboration seriously and professionally. DMs can often feel quite casual or get lost in the noise of social media, and it might not convey the same level of intent. Creators are more likely to respond to well-crafted emails that show you've put thought into your outreach. Emails are easier to track and organize. The dozens of emails that creators receive each day and the dozens of DMs, between the two of them, the emails are easier to sort through and search in the inbox. Whereas with DMs, it's really hard to find those previous threads, especially like I said, you have dozens of DMs from different people. It can get overlooked or buried. With email, it's simpler to follow up and find that past conversation. Ensure your communication stays on their radar and yours. Avoiding spam filters and overload. DMs on platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Discord often get filtered out automatically, especially if you're not already connected with or following the creator. In fact, with Twitter, I think you can't even DM people unless you're paying for the platform these days or something like that. So it's really just not effective. Email bypasses these filters and goes directly to their inbox, making it far more likely to be seen. There are spam filters in emails as well, but they aren't as strict as social media, so your message is more likely to be seen when comparing email and DMs. Craft a subject line that's catchy and specific to draw them in. It should hint at the content of the email and encourage them to open it. That said, steer clear of clickbaity type headlines like, oh, you won't believe what's inside. All you're gonna get is an eye roll and not an email open. Some good examples of strong email headers, and I've used these personally myself over the years, is with it, in brackets, capital letters, key inside, game name, the thrilling roguelike fishing sim, or exclusive preview, play game name before launch, or Next Fest, game name demo is now available. As you can see with these three examples, it makes it very clear what this email is about and what type of part of the launch campaign, like milestones that you're in. So this is a pre-launch thing. This is a demo thing. So yeah, just be more clear. That's the whole point I'm trying to get at there. Take the time to learn about the creator beforehand, more than just like their viewership and metrics and all that. Flick through their content. You don't need to watch all of their videos or their whole streams, but click through to get just a general vibe for what kind of creator they are and what kind of humor they have. And try to find specific reasons why they should care about your game and include those in your pitch. A brief example is, I'm reaching out to you because you recently played similar game. I think you'll like this game. It's really that simple, and it helps personalize that email. Creators are more receptive to a casual tone than a formal business tone. It's better to be relaxed while maintaining a basic level of professionalism when reaching out to them. It's okay to use those exclamation points and smiley faces. I'm a big fan of smiley faces myself. That said, don't be too relaxed. If you're too familiar with the creator who doesn't really know you, that it can kind of step over a boundary and feel really uncomfortable. And especially if it's your first email, it'd be received very poorly. So just keep that in mind. Still use the exclamation points and smileys, but don't act like they're your best bud. If your email is too long or includes large blocks of text, they will likely glance at it and move on to the next one. You want to get to the point quickly and convey the most important information in simple bullet points. This information that's most important includes when, ideal time frame to post the video or stream, or embargo information, what's the game name, a link to the store page, a link to a YouTube video, where, specify which platform you want them to create the content on if they have multiple channels. Why? What's the purpose or goal of this opportunity? Is it an event? Is it a launch push? Is it a beta? Game update? Why should they care? Clearly communicate what you're offering and what you expect in return. If it's a paid opportunity, be upfront about compensation and the collaboration's goals. If you're not offering payment, make that clear upfront as well. Whether you're providing game keys, assets, or other collaboration opportunities, outline these details in your initial outreach. And if possible, provide access to your game through a Steam key or a demo link in that first email as well. Do not make them reply to you to let you know if they're interested, or link a form in the email saying, fill this out and I might send you a key. Just throw that key in the first email. Creators often have their own large spreadsheets of potential collaboration keys that they've been sent, and they are more likely to get to your game eventually rather than not at all. They don't want to do the extra effort of clicking through a form or replying to your email to let you know they want a key. Just give them the key. Include one good visual asset, such as key art, a cool screenshot, or a small GIF in your email to break up the text and immediately grab their interest. It gives a good first impression of the style of game that you're trying to get them to play, and it can go a long way into getting them on board. That said, be mindful of the file size of the asset you include. If an email is too large as a whole, it might not land in their inbox at all. Think beyond gameplay content for collaborations. Non-gameplay ideas provide fresh ways for creators to engage with their audience and promote the game creatively. Maybe they're bored of doing Let's Plays or streams and they want to do this other cool opportunity you're offering. So give it a try. It's also a great way to get visibility for a game before you have gameplay available for them, before there's even a demo made. As an example, for Nexon's reveal of the first Descendant, I pitched large YouTubers who are familiar with the genre and have played many similar titles. And I provided them with the same information that I sent media, with the same video, the press release, and the same embargo. This resulted in 37 large YouTubers covering the game alongside the wave of media coverage that came out, providing trailer reactions, and it greatly boosted visibility for the game. That said, Nexon is a big name, and it definitely helped getting 37 large YouTubers on board for free, but you can employ this strategy with smaller games as well. Just give it a try. Worst case, they'll say no. At least you tried. Keep the tone friendly and not overly demanding. If you're not paying them, all you can do is politely ask that they play your game. And they aren't obligated to do anything for you. The only time you should reference deliverables is if you're paying them. That's the only time. Making it clear that you're respectful of their time and understanding that they don't need to do anything for you goes a long way. I've had many creators respond to me thanking me for this approach. Build relationships, how to run successful unpaid creator campaigns. When running creator campaigns, your primary goal is to build genuine, mutually beneficial relationships with them that offer value to both sides. By focusing on authentic connections, your unpaid campaigns can be powerful tools for boosting your game's exposure and building long-term partnerships with creators. Provide creators with unique, engaging opportunities like early access, exclusive previews, or in-game features like naming a character or adding an Easter egg in the game for them to make your collaboration worthwhile. Focus on how the partnership benefits both parties, whether it's attracting new viewers, boosting engagement, or being part of a special launch event. Smaller creators who are already passionate about your game are especially effective for unpaid campaigns. They see genuine value in engaging their community with a game they love. Communication is key to fostering those long-term partnerships with creators. Keeping them updated on your game's development, expressing genuine appreciation for their support, and engaging with their content beyond just promoting your game are great ways to build those relationships. By prioritizing those relationships over transactions, you build loyalty and create lasting collaborations. Be there for the creators before, during, and after your campaign. Make yourself available for any questions or troubleshooting or support they might need. Continued availability shows that you value their time. Make it easy for creators to make content about your game. Provide them with high-quality assets like images, trailers, key art, and relevant information. They can easily produce videos, social media posts, YouTube thumbnails with these assets you provide. It can be as simple as providing a link to your press kit, or you can go as extra as creating custom personalized overlays for their streams. Whatever you do, just give them something. Make sure to note whether or not the music in your game is safe for streams and videos. This has been a huge point of frustration among creators who've spent the time making a recorded video only to have it taken down because the music was not safe for them to use. It's okay if the music isn't safe, but just let them know ahead of time so they can plan ahead and perhaps just turn that music off when they're recording gameplay for their content. Let creators cover the game in their own style. It's okay to suggest some talking points or key facts about your game, but don't tell them to say specific things or feel a certain way about your game. Their audience will respond better to these authentic, genuine reactions to your game. And ideally, if you curated your list correctly, everyone on that list should be somewhat interested in your game and shouldn't be saying awful things about it when they play it. So just let them communicate to their audience the way that they want to. They know their audience better than you do. Promote the coverage of your game through your own social media channels, newsletters, or community platforms. This boosts creator visibility and shows appreciation for their work, encouraging future collaborations. And take it to the next level. You can create highlight videos and compilations. Simply just inform creators ahead of time that you want clips from their streams or videos to create this compilation video for social media promotion. It saves the work of you trying to find their content and also gets their permission to use their content. Actively participate in their streams. Streamers and viewers often lose their minds when a dev hops in chat. And just let them know your username ahead of time, and then during their stream, pop in, and they will love you all the more for it. And give them keys for giveaways. Let them engage with their community. And it also increases the viewership during their stream or video if there's a mention of, oh, there's a giveaway happening here. More people are going to come in. Maximizing ROI, budgeting and negotiating for paid creator campaigns. Paid creator campaigns can be a highly effective way to promote your game, but it's essential to approach them strategically to ensure you're maximizing your return on investment. Here's how to budget effectively, negotiate, and evaluate your paid collaborations. And this is a quick overview. I'm aware that I have a very limited time here. So before reaching out to creators, define what you want to achieve. Is it brand awareness, conversions, long-term brand building? Understanding your goals helps to determine how much you should invest into paid campaigns. When setting your budget, actually, hold on. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, when setting your budget, consider the game size and market potential. If it's a smaller game with a lower price point, you're probably going to want to engage smaller creators. If it's a larger game with a bigger price point, you probably want to engage larger creators because you have more potential for making that money back. If you're planning to engage multiple creators, expect thousands or tens of thousands or sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's no standard pricing for paid creator campaigns, and navigating budgets and negotiations can often be confusing and frustrating. While exact rates can widely vary by platform, creator size, content type, and other mysterious factors, I will provide you with some general guidelines and benchmarks that you can use to make the process smoother and more informed. That's right, I'm about to give you some rates. I'm talking about numbers here. No one talks about this, but they should, so I'm going to give you some visibility on money. So boom, here's the formula. Take a picture of the screen, the slide, look at it later. I'm not going to get into huge in-depth here. But the point is, look at their average viewership for Twitch and multiply it by 1.5. And that's your hourly rate. So someone with 1,000 CTV on Twitch, that's $1,500 per hour, as a general rule of thumb. It can go higher or lower, and there's other factors to consider, like social media engagement. But yeah, that's a general formula you can use to budget out your campaigns and negotiate. YouTube has a different formula. And I'll get to that in a second. I just want to quickly show you this chart just to give you a quick overview of like size of creator versus how much it could cost them. Cost you to collaborate with them. It can get pretty high. So hopefully this helps you plan out your campaigns in the future. Okay, back to YouTube rates. So their viewership is calculated by something called CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, similar to if you do ads on YouTube. So you calculate their average viewership, 30 or 90 day, and you multiply it by 0.100. So and then that you would get 100 CPM for that. So as their viewership increases, the rate will increase. So someone with an average of 20,000 views, they should reasonably expect to get paid between 2,000 and 10,000 for their dedicated video. And integrations, so like short 15, 60-second ads, either pre-roll or mid-roll, those are calculated at a lower value for CPM. Be upfront about what you're offering, whether it's payment, items, perks. Clearly outline what you're looking for. When negotiating, aim for a fair rate that respects the creator's time and value. Here are some quick tips for effective creator negotiations. Ask them to provide their rate first, so you have a baseline for how much they think they should get paid. Be honest and transparent during the discussion. Your objective is to find a rate that will make both of you feel good about the transaction. If you have a small budget available, communicate that early. And keep in mind that being a small indie dev without a big budget is not an excuse to devalue creators' time. If you can't afford paid campaigns, maybe look for unpaid campaigns instead. Neither side should be lowballing or gouging. If the rate they quote is too high, counter the lower rate and explain why you think it should be lower. Have that conversation. And look at their metrics, do your research. Maybe they are worth that higher rate that they're asking. Make sure you go into the negotiation informed. And consider other factors such as social media presence and engagement, and not just viewership. And sometimes you have to walk away, and that's okay. Just make sure you do so professionally so you can potentially work with them again in the future. And lastly, use a contract. Outline the deliverables, the timelines, and the fee that you're paying them to avoid any misunderstandings going forward. Track key metrics like views, engagement, and conversions to evaluate the success of your campaign. Understanding what worked and what didn't work will help you refine your approach for future paid campaigns and ensures you're making data-driven decisions. Here's a quick overview of some tools that will make it a little bit easier to collaborate with content creators. I'm not going to go into in depth and read out all of them. Again, feel free to take a picture of the slide. But these are just some ideas to get you started. I personally, when I'm doing creator collaborations, use Solinome, Social Blade, Play Indies, Yam, MailChimp, and Hootsuite. So take a look, see what potentially could work for you. And in the corner there, the QR code and link, oh, the QR code's broken, I'm so sorry. Well, the link works. I have my creator list template in there, and I have the slides from this presentation, and I'm gonna be adding some other resources like pitch templates in there for you as well. Please use them, take them, they're yours. All right, so a quick recap is use effective communication, curate the right creators, engagement over size, nail the pitch, build relationships, maximize return on investment in paid campaigns, and work smarter, not harder. To wrap up, I encourage you to take what you've learned today and start building meaningful relationships with creators, whether it's refining your outreach, exploring new platforms, or tracking your campaigns more effectively. If you have any questions about anything I've discussed today, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I love chatting about this stuff. And if you have any questions right now, you can ask me, but I think technically out of time, but we have time for a couple questions. Cool. QR code didn't work on this slide either, but the link works. Okay, yeah, there's a microphone in the center of the aisle here if anyone wants to ask me questions. If not, totally cool. You can meet up with me later. Yeah. Head on over there.
A question about services like Keymailer and Woovit. I heard opposite opinions, whether it's a good idea or not. Can you chime in on that?
Oh, do I have another hour? So just for visibility on the question, asking about Keymailer and Woovit and Lurkit and those type of platforms and the controversial opinions on whether they're good or not. So all of these platforms, they're quite automated. And the way they vet creators is, again, automated. So a lot of creators slip through the cracks that are potentially scammers or creators just wanting to score some free keys to stream. So that said, between all of them, Keymailer is the more established one. It has the larger creator base to potentially send keys to. And these platforms are good to use if you really don't have time to really go hands-on with curating your creator list. You can use, it's better to have some sort of content creator relations than none at all. So it's okay to use Keymailer and Lurkit and Woovit and all those, but I highly recommend spending the time making your own list, doing your personalized individual outreach. You will get better results every time. I've actually spoken to a lot of devs and creators who worked on both sides of Keymailer and Lurkit and all these platforms, and so I understand the pros and cons. So we can talk about this later. I can really dive into this. But the main thing is, with Keymailer, as a developer, you can expect about a 50 to 60% conversion rate on handing a key to someone and getting coverage. Whereas in comparison, Lurkit has statistically actually been closer to 10% because of the way their system works. A creator can request up to 3 keys at a time, and they're only required to cover one of those games. So a lot of creators are using Lurkit just as a free key machine. But yeah, like I said, they're okay to use. They're better to have than not. But if you can, make your own list. Hopefully that answers your question. I have strong feelings about this. Another question back there.
Do you have any recommendations for reaching creators in different regions, countries, or languages? Like, obviously easy for us to email in English, but if I wanted to potentially collaborate with someone, maybe they're in Japan,
Yeah.
particular area? Like, what do you suggest?
Okay, yeah. So the question's about tips on how to contact creators in other regions and languages and how to do that effectively. So I'm from Canada, but I've done global outreach, creators of every country, every language. Thankfully, with like Google Translate and it really helps when you say. I just send my pitches out in English, even to Japanese creators, and they're able to, through Google Translate, kind of convey what I'm trying to say and reply. Or a lot of other countries do speak some basic level of English. The only region that's really hard to get into and communicate with as someone who's not in that region is actually China. Chinese creators, there's specific agencies over there, and unless you speak the language fluently and you understand the way they work and their mindsets, it's really hard to break into China. That's the one region where, even after doing this for 5 years, I don't have any like direct connections with Chinese creators. But I haven't had an issue of working with creators in other countries or languages personally. Hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions? We have time for maybe one more? No? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you so much for coming to my talk. And yeah, let me know if you want to chat later about any of these things or just marketing related stuff. Thanks, everybody.